Okay, hey everybody, this is Grace, and I had yet another thing, of course, as my life goes. People have told me for most of my life, if not all, that I have a jinxed life, and I just don't believe in that. I don't believe that there are people who are just unlucky. No, has to be. That's just not my way, and I've also said that maybe I should start. Because, I mean, it's like one after another for me. And here's yet another. So, let's see. I didn't go into great detail about that second one. Because various reasons I already mentioned. But also because, and I kind of mentioned this one, because there's this woman, she had the same thing happen to her. And that could have been, I've always thought maybe that could have been what sparked me, but I think it was something just like right before seeing that made me go in this like long line of having to call this one an hour and a half or so. No, wait, that was yesterday, the hour and a half. But that was 2 days of calling all these numbers. And it's like nobody tells you just like all of what you need to know. So you don't spend so much time calling this place, calling that place, when one person in it would know. It's their job. And they could say, and then you need to do this, and you need to do that. No, that's not how it's done. They're going to waste your time. The people who do this, of course. I'm not saying everybody on the planet. None of this is everybody. No, it's just the people who do these things. Okay? And also there's got to be the cash grab. You know, where people say, oh, they're going to do this, or they're going to make some money, or, hey, I can make some money if I just don't tell them, if I just lie through a mission, that's all I got to do. And that's not really lying. I just didn't tell them. Yes, it is. It's called lying through a mission. And, I mean, Adam and I noticed this first, that it really stood out to us when we were in our 20s. In our 20s. When was that? Maybe in the 80s, somewhere in there? I don't know. I don't remember how long ago it was. But, it's a long time ago. But it was people who were working in a place that should have been providing information to, it was at a college, university college, and the people that should be providing information to people weren't. Whatever was wrong with their personality or their lack of training, or just that they didn't feel like a need to explain everything. And that's when we started noticing this more and more. You know, we noticed that, we probably had noticed it before, but that one really stood out. Okay? That they weren't going to tell you things, and then you had to go through something, and then goes, oh my gosh, I should have done this, or they just, no matter which part of down the line, you weren't going to get the full amount of information that you need to know. You know, you might not need to know it, but it just wasn't there. They weren't, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know why I would want to say forgiving. It's not forgiving. It's not something like that. Anyway, they're just not offering it up. Okay? Then I doubt they're thinking in terms of, well, let them learn the hard way. The long way. You see, I mean, it's just unbelievable. And, you know, like I said, all these runaround numbers, and everybody's going to give you like a very small portion. And then there it didn't end then, it just keeps going. I mean, of course. And this is probably among mothers and her mothers and her mother, and, you know, on and on. And where are people who actually help? The interesting thing was the one person I spoke to that was of help to me and all this, she lives in Canada. No, of course, one person and one thing does not mean that that's the standard, or that's just what it would be. I just found that humorous. All the people right here, right around me, in Texas, nope, we're not going to give you the information. We're going to make you spend. And one of them was like, how many months? Seriously. And just, oh my. But anyway. Okay, now, then, like I was saying, there's a woman online. She makes videos. I had watched her videos, like one or two are partial. I don't know how long ago. It could have been as long as a year ago. And just didn't know. But it was, as time went by and I went back and checked, I said, yeah, I can kind of relate to her. Or like I had said, she could probably relate to me because I'm older. I've experienced this a lot longer. And this kind of strange jinxed life, seriously, I just don't believe in jinxes. But, wow. And one thing after another, and I'm not pushing them to happen. It's just that I'm living. There's actually social theories and stuff like that. My master's degree is in sociology that can explain some very small portion of it, though. I mean, because this other one that I mentioned, it was some people doing this challenge stuff, not on YouTube. It could, maybe some part of it could have been on YouTube, but that's not where it started. I don't know, I just heard the stories myself. Okay, so, anyway. Okay, because like I said, I'm not a person like some really despicable people who like to steal somebody else's ideas, and that would sound too close to it to me. Although mine would be true, it did actually happen, but it's because of a similarity. Okay, so now let's move on from that. Might have more than one reason, to come up too. But anyway, so the yesterday thing. Yesterday was Saturday, and I had an appointment for next week with Monday with a doctor in a doctor's office, new to me, doctor's office. And I don't understand how all of these things work. I'm learning, okay, because I got my insurance on the 1st, and I don't know how, I called, I don't know, right away to make an appointment, and it was just nothing these days seems like it's instead of it making it easier, it makes it harder. Things like, you gotta get on the portal, and, where is customer service when you do call? I'm not saying everybody again, but I tend to run across, I would think, more than my fair share. like as if you have a share. But, oh my goodness, but, so, I actually wound up, eventually, because I had to do the things of checking on the new health insurance that I have. I didn't say new, I didn't have health insurance before, remember all that crap? But, oh my God. But, this one, I had to find out how does this actually work in all these tiers, and tier 1, tier whatever, do this, and then you have to do that, you got to make sure this, but the doctor's not available until like months later. As of yesterday, the doctor himself, is a male, would not have an appointment for somebody like me, a new patient, until January. And then you have to learn that that's a separate thing than a regular appointment. And I've worked for doctors and surgeons, and I do not recall that much BS. Seriously. Well, they can only take this many new patients, and you wouldn't believe how many new patients. Well, that could be true. Could be true. And I certainly wouldn't want doctors to do what... It was funny, the woman from Canada, she lives in Canada. Like, it's a different system, and she says it's kind of like these doctors that schedule 5 people for 15 minutes. I was like, didn't I just say that recently on a video? Who knows where I put it, but yeah, that, yeah, we'll skip that. But, gosh, so much. So anyway, so yesterday was Saturday, and I woke up real early, and I don't know whether I thought about it the night before, but real early in the morning, and I realized they hadn't called to confirm that I have an appointment on Monday, or sent me a text, or sent me, I mean, whatever, you got to figure out which one does this and which one does that, and which one you got to look on the portal, and which one you have to always check your emails, you got to check your voice messages, or you have to check your texts, or you have to call yourself, or you see, what was supposed to make it easier is not making it easier. I am not one to sit and watch, just sit there and stare at my phone for any reason, unless I'm reading something or watching something, but just to sit there and stare and wait till a bing comes in to tell me what I need to do. I don't have I'm actually developing a cell phone full of apps, because nowadays it seems like everything is on an app. Oh my gosh. Well, you don't have the app? Oh my goodness, really? I had my first computer since had my first computer in 1982. Pretty much ever since then, had a computer. And the cell phone, I was one of the first that I knew had a cell phone, so don't give me any crap of, oh, you're one of those old people who doesn't know. That is a really bad stereotype, and that is ageism. You need to stop, period. If you do it, period, stop. Well, some people actually developed, like, Adam software, okay? Anyway, some things, some people. So, I get back to the story. The doctor's office. Okay. So, when it came time, I was actually making a video at the time. And something happened that reminded me, oh, I better call them before it gets too late to find out. I didn't even know if they were open on Saturday. Then you got to learn which one's open on Saturday, which ones aren't, and who's going to be there Monday, who's going to be there Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. It might not be the same one. If you have to go that day, then you need to think that you're going to see the nurse practitioner. If you go the other day, you're going to see the doctor. If it's an emergency, you need to, you see? Wow. Now, I remember you got really sick and you needed to see a doctor. You just go in there. You might have to wait for a while. You just go to your doctor's office. And now it's all these, you need to check in online, or you need to touch the little kiosk when you get here and do the, put yourself in the queue, and I am serious with this. This is unbelievable. Now, I do live in a suburb of Dallas. It is a big suburb of Dallas. Okay, yeah, I'm a sociologist, master's degree. I know there's a difference in city, suburb, big, huge city, metroplex, in small towns, medium-sized towns, all that. Yeah, but this is ridiculous. Okay, every time you turn around, there's a doctor's office right there. But no, or other things. The other thing that I have an appointment for next week. Okay, there's one every time you turn around. It's just and difficult to get to, also. So all these things that were supposed to make it easier are not making it easier. Okay. Anyway, so I called them, and an hour and a half. On this call, and having to learn their system is that, this woman, you can call the same phone number, but you're going to get this one. She doesn't deal with this suburb that I'm in. She only deals with that one. Then the next time I call in is someone who only deals with that one. You can't just call the one that you need for yourself, for your area. That doesn't happen. Kind of sounds like you're what do I see that the most? I think it's hotels. Yeah. So you're trying to schedule a hotel. You're not going to speak to that hotel. It's kind of like the post office, too. I don't know if the post office still does that, but wow, when that happened, oh my, I was like, really? Seriously? But so many places, you don't reach the place you're actually wanting to talk to. I mean, you can look online and maybe it'll have a phone number there. Maybe not. Because it's going to send you through those people who are the schedulers. And they might not even schedule in your area. They don't know it. I really don't know anything about that area. Even the ones that they are scheduling for. Okay. Got all that? Okay. So, after all that, an hour and a half of just, why are y'all doing this to me? Why don't you know your job? You know, why, I mean, it was, but also in the middle of this, I found something that was actually good. They let me speak to a triage nurse. But of course I had to wait for a while. It was sent to priority or something, she said. I don't remember the term they use. They have all different terms. You know, things that are supposed to make things easier. But, so the triage nurse called me. She said, you really need to go to the ER. And she's saying, go to ER, go to a urgent care. And I said, what about urgent care? She said, yeah, I'll go to urgent care and see what happens. Well, you know, it took a little bit longer because she could have told me. You know, that whole thing of they don't give you all the information you need. She could have told me. And I think she was in the middle of all this. You know, the hour and a half. She could have told me that they have their own urgent care facilities. No. I had to find that the hard way of calling this one. They said, well, we're not in their HMO. I said, what? And we're not HMO, they're something, whatever word. Remember, I used to work for doctors and surgeons. Okay, so much has changed since then with their terminology. Oh my goodness. They're not on their plan or there's something, I don't know. And so I said, well, do you know anybody who is? Because what was I going to spend? Hours trying to find one? And she said, yeah, this one. And I said, okay. That one was not anywhere near me, but okay. And the one that I do know probably would not have been within it. But later on, I remember that they said that I didn't have to have it. But it would work out best if I did, because of what had happened was, I skipped that part, that when I called them for the reason of finding out about my appointment, the appointment had been canceled. Did I mention that part? It's just so much. Everything is so much. But so much involved with it. But apparently they had canceled my appointment because that person, that provider, healthcare provider, was not going to be there that day for whatever reason. You suddenly decided to take a vacation or something? I don't know. You know, it's none of my business why. But they said they had called me, but they couldn't leave a voice message because my voice message, they couldn't leave one. I had purposefully made it to where people cannot leave voicemail because they get a lot of crap voicemail. And seriously, just too much. And so I said, well, what was there no text they sent? She said, oh, we sent a text, but it was one to get on the portal. Oh my goodness. You see, so I said, later on I had to call back, and she didn't reschedule it. Then she instead said, you need to speak to this ER nurse. And short version of it is I had to call them back all over again. Okay, that was Adam. Came back home, and the dogs, he went to the gym, but the dogs jumped all over him, and he was going back. But anyway, so where was I? Okay, yeah, I had to call back later on, but in the meanwhile, okay, now I was going to have, they said that I should go to an ER because my glucose level was very high. Not very high like diabetic coma, none of that kind of stuff. But it was just very high. And as I explained to them, that insulin doesn't seem to be working for me. Like I explained to, I had called prior to these, days, weeks, months, the pharmaceutical company, who said I was doing everything right. They didn't understand. Spoken to in person, even pharmacists, and over the phone, and they said that it was, they never heard of this. Well, yeah, you had heard of it. You heard it from me before. And they forgot or didn't tell anybody else. Anyway, they said that it just could be that my body is rejecting it, which could happen because, as I never knew all these years, excuse me, but mine is an autoimmune disorder or something like that, and that one pharmacist finally decided to tell me this. She was very, very thorough about how because I have a rare health condition, how that condition causes me to reject anything that's injected. Okay. Not everything, but could be anything, but not everything. I don't know. It could be everything, but so that could be that's what it's doing. Oh my. And anyway, or just that one. I don't know. And so where was I on the rest of it? So I had to go to one of these, and the closest one, they have one right here, but of course the one here in my suburb isn't going to be open today. Yesterday. All the other ones around it, yeah, and they kept saying Garland. What the heck is going on in Garland that so many things wants me to go to the city called Garland? I don't want to go to Garland. I lived in Garland more than once. I don't want to go to Garland. It's not just, I don't like the road, the way, the system. I'm going to have to go through it this coming week, so. Oh, twice. Oh my. No, well, not twice, once. Anyway, I've been there recently. It's just not my cup of tea, not my place. And there's some of the roads, anyway. So, where was I? So I went to this. Adam went with me. And, I don't know why he's become so grumpy lately. It was not a fun drive. Plus, it was on the side of a, I had to find it, which I have that, I have a GPS just like anybody else, on their cell phone. Maybe, many of them, if not most, have a GPS. And for whatever reason, it sent us, oh my. But, I could see, but it was a mess. Okay, I can read a map. That's how I travel. I was one of those who did multiple road trips. I could read a map, and that's just like the map. But for some reason, it would do no. Anyway, we made it there. We got there in time for the appointment. You got to make an appointment for an urgent care, which you could also walk in, but it could be busy. When I got there, it was one man sitting there. And when I came out, he was still sitting there. I don't know why he was sitting there. He was an older man. And he looked like he had, maybe he was, I don't know. I don't know, none of my business, but the whole place only had one person. And then the woman that was there, that was checking me in, I would say, I'm sorry I can't hear you. She was a low talker. Those low talkers, they talk real low, and you say, I can't hear you, and they say, well, and then they'll go back down real low. Did you hear any of that? Yeah. But they're only going to do it for like one sentence, and then they go back to low. And it's impossible to hear them. Yes, I'm 60 years old, 60, but I never have had anyone with anybody else all this time, have not had over the phone any place that much trouble hearing somebody. But no, she's looking at me probably like, yeah, she just doesn't understand. She's because we're a different ethnic group. And no, she, me is not. But she would do that real low all of a sudden again. And I think she just kind of demented. She's just got a problem that she wants to be able to complain about people, maybe. That's just me being sarcastic. Anyway, and then there was a really nice MA. Hey, a really nice MA. Remember how much trouble I had with MAs? Medical assistants. Not people like me with a Master's of Arts, but someone that's a medical assistant. They go to school like a few weeks, as little as a few weeks. But anyway, she was very nice, and she seemed like she was someone who actually studied. Knew the terminology, knew more than, seriously. I have not been impressed at all by MAs, at all, except for one that I knew. And that was, 20 years ago almost. Yeah. I have not at all been impressed. Especially one that told me I was something like 5'1", or real short. To me it's short, I'm a gentle giant. And I said, how tall are you? It was two of them together, and they were giggly. And I said, and they told me I was from this on the scale, And I said, how tall are you? The tallest of the two. She said, 5'7". I said, do I look shorter than you? She said, no. She giggled and she said, you're not. Okay? And then I said, so? She goes, well, I still have to write down what it says or we get in trouble. I'm taller than her. She's 5'7", but she's going to tell me I'm something like 5'1". Okay. Not too bright. And they continue to do. That's the funny ones. And then there was some that were very serious. They took it upon themselves to act as though that made them a nurse. Or maybe even a doctor. Anyway. So, I go in there and I see this, first impression was, yikes, nobody in there except that one man. It's got a big, it's a really nice place too. And just nobody but that one man. One patient. And so they got me back there pretty fast. And what is she? Oh, she, like I said, she was very thorough. They said that she had come out to the waiting room and told me, because I'm sitting there right close to the door, and she said, well, the doctor's thinking, not the doctor, it turned out to be a PA, and a physician's assistant. She said, she's thinking that you need to go to the hospital. And so I told her a little bit more, and she actually listened. That was so surprising to me. And she didn't interrupt me. She didn't, do that condescending thing that these other ones that aren't so bright do. Put you on the defensive. They didn't do that. She was professional. Wow, what a concept. I'm being very sarcastic. Because I had a lot of problems with these kinds of people that they were all that I said she was not. Rude. Just plain rude. She was not. So they got me back there, and then she was very thorough. She listened to what I had to say. She said, well, let's test it, your glucose now, and see. That's what she should. Well, I think I actually said, could I test it here before I go there? Because I've explained to her about my, I have 4 of these glucose monitors. I have 10 over all these years, but I only had the strips for 4. I actually have laid them out, one next to the other one, and didn't move from there, and just sat there and tested this one, all 4 of them. And there was a difference from the lowest to the highest, whichever one it was, of 130 points. I don't know if you know anything about glucose testing and all that. That's quite a bit. I said, so I don't know if my newest one is, and it's just new, is the right one. It seems a little high, and it is compared to theirs. When I got home, though, and I hadn't eaten anything but between there and home, but it was at least 10, if not more. I've tested on other ones, and I would say it's at least 30 points too high. So, but anyway, Okay, so anyway, it's hard to say, for me to say, what is it? But like the PA, she told me, she said, it's kind of like scales. They're never going to be the same. You know, never, not, she didn't say never, but they're, you know, you got to find one and stick to one, is what she said. Just stick to that one. Then you know, and I understood that before she's finished, that that's what I do already. But just, if it's, whatever it is, if it's too high from that point, you know, from whatever it's saying at the time, if it goes up too much or if it goes down too much. Anyway, that's what I do, so. But every once in a while I check them, and one doesn't work even like that. So, weird. Okay. And I plan on getting a new one. I got this insurance for a purpose. And I'm telling you, it's like a different world to me. It's like, wow, this is what humans are being treated. You know, ones they consider humans, the ones that don't. You know, like the ER 3 times apparently didn't see me as human because I didn't have health insurance. And treated me like crap. You know, all the ones that I've been treated like crap from because of this. And then I get this insurance again. It's been for a long while. It's like, wow. I mean, I knew it works like this, but just that feeling of being treated as a human again. Because they dehumanized me. Seriously. It was so horrible. I mean, what I've been through for years now, it was horrible. You know, and all the medical cherry picking because I have this rare health condition. Horrible. I had insurance, and they were doing before, and they were treating me this way. It's horrible, and I so fear going to dentists. Dentists and doctors, but doctors' offices or appointments. I actually get down, feeling really down, like before that appointment. I'm not even going to call it panic. It's dread. I dread going to doctors, especially new ones, even old, you know, ones I've been to before, because of what I face. It's so dehumanizing. Because they really want to get rid of me. They really don't want me to have to be their patient. Because I've read up on all this kind of stuff and their suggestions, their thoughts about these different places, different ones, even ones that would know. So that these doctors, they don't want to have a patient that isn't improving quickly. You know, it's not as simple as just somebody who has a toe ache or a toothache. You see how to do the difference there. But anyway, so it felt really good. I mean, I just felt like, wow, and it does feel like, wow. I mean, it's got its problems, like I said, things that were supposed to make this easier. But that seems to be pretty much across the board. Not really. I mean, I've noticed that here, in big city area, this kind of thing. Oh, we gotta do this portal stuff. Whatever. Seriously. Where's human contact? But then when you have it, it's like, well, I don't schedule for that area. Well, okay, can you have the phone numbers listed of which ones you call? Anyway. So the visit, I kept looking at this woman. She had a mask on, the PA, and she was probably my age, a little bit older, maybe, a few years. I don't know, but I could, you know, I saw that she had a mask on, so it's a little difficult. But anyway, I mean, I could tell she was a little bit older, but she was very, very professional. Amazing thing. And now I'm a person that has a cheerful attitude, believe it or not. But I'm a cheerful person, even though all the crazy crap I go through in life, and that raises my blood pressure, and I have white coat syndrome anyway, and but it wasn't as high as it was for like that last doctor or that hospital. None of that. It's because that place would seem like to have a really good atmosphere and really good people, except for the low talker, who was kind of rude. But, and then there was another guy there, and he just wasn't saying anything. So, anyway, he took my picture as I left. That's about it. But I learned many years ago not to really praise something, to say it was so great, because then right after that, I'm knocked off and they're knocked off of that pedestal. I put them on, and that's what I always say. You put something on someone or something on a pedestal, eventually it's going to fall off, and it's going to fall on you, and it's going to hurt. So, that's not 100%, but of course. Anyway, so, in the appointment when she finally came in, the young MA, she, like I said, did my glucose. It was lower, quite a bit, and it was under the amount that I needed to have it, so I did not have to go to the hospital. Okay, so like I said, my glucometers, who knows if any of them are right. And so anyway, so the PA, she took a good long while with me, and by the end of it, she was kind of, a little cheerful herself. She's kind of stoic a little bit, but she would make kind of stoic jokes. She was stoic, but the jokes were so mild and everything, and I'd catch it right away, what she was saying, and it was funny, but you had to really pay attention. She's quite smart, I have a genius IQ. I could figure out where she was going, and it was funny, But, anyway, she told me something that I had heard one time and said the past 35 years, and like I told her, I said, I wasn't sure if she was just saying that for right now, or for one test or something like that. I don't know how many years ago, maybe 15 or so. And, but this is about diabetes, and I'm not going to say it. I will not say it because I don't want anybody to think that's some form of advice, or that's what they need to do, or that's all that it is. But it was like, I told her, I never really heard it that way, the way she did it, but I told her what I had heard. And she said, yeah. And she explained a little bit to me. I said, yeah, I get it. So, something I've been doing wrong. Nobody had told me I'm doing it wrong. No, but it's not even that I would be doing it wrong, it's that I wasn't doing enough. Okay, it's not like I'm eating something wrong. Nope, that's not it. Nothing like that. But, anyway, I'm going to move on from that. But it worked. They said the triage nurse and that PA, the triage nurse from the phone, and then the PA from that urgent care, said, yeah, do that, try that. And I tried it, and it was right on target. And she said, you were giving good advice from her. Yeah. So I did it and didn't have to go to the ER. So, but anyway, but I had to come home, make an appointment, or maybe I made the appointment before I went, I don't know, to see, still got to see. The good thing there was she ran some tests, so I wouldn't need to run those blood tests again. And so when I go to the doctor's office, they're already in. The doctor was going to be, I don't know if she's a PA or if she's a nurse practitioner. And she's going to have all those tests, so she doesn't have to wait. And she can change my insulin and work from there, so that's really good. And, yeah. Okay, Adam came in and interrupted me. This is why I used to say, used to only make videos when I was out of the house. So, not just that, but the dogs sometimes, and just, yeah, not always just them. Oh my. But, anyway, I think I'll go ahead and wrap this up. But it was a good visit at that, urgent care. It felt just like I was actually being treated. Yeah, for what the purpose I'm there. And I did talk to her. I noticed that ever since that one doctor told me to, only speak in one word sentence, only answering one word, with one word and one word sentences. The sexist one. that I fired and told him off big time. Yes, it was well worth it to tell him off. Man. But no, I found out since then, as I promised myself, I'm just going to keep talking. You know, I'm not going to let anybody it's a habit in my life. They're not my habit, but is a usual in my life, is that people cut me off. Seriously, because their lives are so much more interesting. Wrong, but because I'm around a lot of people, like I said, life in Narcissismville. I don't necessarily see that as narcissistic behavior so much. Not always. This could be many things, but I see a lot of it. I usually say narcissistic, histrionic blend of behaviors, but I know some of them were actually diagnosed with borderline, as borderline, so, yeah. But the whole thing of, I'm going to a doctor, or some healthcare professional, and I'm just, they're supposed to be doing all the talking for like 2 minutes, as much time they have to be with you, because they schedule their appointments like that Canadian woman said, and I have already said too. Yeah. Okay, too many at one time, because they're building their practice, and I need to know that. And that one actually said that to me. Oh my God. Oh, so much history, so much just recent. And, but anyway, I'll have to, I did schedule an appointment, and she said that, this is good for you until then. And I'm telling you, I'm exhausted, and I talked to her about that exhaustion. And it's hard for me to think straight sometimes. Not think straight. It's like, it's that, I don't know how to put it. I'm not as smart as I have been. And I know, you can get older, and some people might do that. But it's not even that. It's not something that's going to cause me some kind of problem, like with driving or any rote kind of learning, I think it's called. Nothing in the daily that I would do, cooking or anything. It's not going to cause me any kind of problems like that. It's just, I don't know how to describe it. It's just I'm tired. She said it's, it's a level of fatigue. And, yeah. But, yeah, we're going to learn about that. I will learn about that. Anyway, wrapping it up. Talk to you on the video. Bye.